Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to create a rain animation with the Pygame Sprite, and we will see a lot of raindrops on the ground. And so this is just going to be a little animation where we have rain droplets on the ground, and let's get started. So this is going to be created in Pygame, so we want to import our Pygame module, and we want to import our random module, and this will come in later. So since it's Pygame, let's actually define some colors. So white is going to be 255, 255, 255. Gray is going to be 141, 141, 141. Let's create our clock. Clock is equal to pygame.time.clock. And we want to initialize the game, so pygame.init. And now we can quit Pygame with pygame.quit. And then quit. And this alone won't do anything since we haven't actually added any main code. So in between here, let us set up a window, and on this window is going to just show the raining animation. So let's set up our window. Window width is going to be equal to 700. Window height is going to be equal to 500 pixels. Window is pygame.display.set mode. And our dimensions, so window width, window height. Now with this, let's pygame.display.set our caption to "It is a rainy day." And now that we have this, let's go into our loop and let's create a main loop. So let me save this, and let's create a main game loop. And this is just going to run our window. So while true for event in pygame.event.get, if event.type is equal to pygame.quit, pygame.quit, we want to quit out of Pygame. And so quit. So this while loop is going to keep our window up, and if the user wants to quit out of Pygame, this if statement will just let the user exit Pygame. That's all it does. So if I save this and run our code, then we have a window that is running, and if I decide to exit, the code will let us exit out of the game. And now that we have this, let's actually set a background. So we can use window or .fill, and this should fill the background with white. And now pygame.display.flip and clock.tick to update 30 times per second. So let's save, or 30 frames per second. So let's save it and run. And we set the background to white. And yeah, that's what we have so far. So let's close this. And now let's create our rain sprite class. So let's go up here. And let's create a class called rain. The parameter is going to be pygame.sprite.sprite, since we're going to be using sprites in this tutorial. Define init of self, color, x, y, and we want to obviously have a radius for the raindrop, and this will be different for every raindrop. So now we can pygame.sprite.init of self, and we want to set the self.color equal to our color parameter. We want to set self.x equal to x, self.y is equal to y, self.radius is equal to radius, self.image, and this is going to be equal to pygame dot surface and window width and the window height. And this would be the surface that the objects will be drawn on. And so image dot fill white self dot image dot set color key of white, and self dot rect is equal to self dot image dot get rect. So if we save this, and now we create an update function, and this update function is just going to actually animate our raindrop. So define update of self, self dot radius is equal to the previous self dot radius plus 1, and if self dot radius is greater than random dot rand int 3080, then we want self dot radius to equal random dot rand int 26. And so what this is going to basically do is once the circle or the raindrop has reached a certain size, then we want to reset that size back to a small number between 2 and 6. And once we reset this size, we also want to reset the position to a random position. So we can have self.x is equal to random.randint 0 window width. And we can do the same thing with the window height, or self.y. So let me actually try to edit this. Self.y is equal to random.randint 0 and window height. So now let's also self.image.fill white. Now pygame.draw.circle, we want to draw a circle since it's a raindrop. Parameters are self.image, self.color, self.x, and self.y. And self.radius and 1. So let's save this. And now let's actually create a sprite group. So down here, let us create a sprite group. And the reason why we create a sprite group is because once we store all these sprites into the sprite group, if we edit this sprite group once, then everything in this sprite group will also be edited. This is way more efficient than just editing each individual sprite on its own. So let's create our sprite group here. Rain group is equal to pygame.sprite.group. And now we want to create 50 objects, or rain droplets on the window. So for I in range 50, since we want to create 50, let's create a for loop. X is equal to random dot randint 0 window width, 0 window width. Y is equal to random dot randint 0 window height. And rain is going to be of an object of the rain class that we created above, the color gray. XY random dot randint 26. And now we want to add this sprite to our rain group that we created above. So rain group dot add rain. And so for each iteration of this for loop, we're adding one new sprite to our rain group. So since we're running this 50 times, we're adding 50 objects into our sprite group. So let's go into our while true loop here, our game loop. And now let's update our sprite group. So right here, let us update, and rain group dot update. And down here, let's call pygame dot or not Pygame, I meant rain group dot draw window. So let me save this and let's run it what we have. And now we have a bunch of raindrops. And when some of them reach a certain size, they will disappear. They will move at a different location. And they'll start from small and increase to a larger size. And it might be a little difficult to see on my computer, the animation, because of the fact that this computer is a little old. So let's increase this radius by 1, or by 2 actually, in this update function, and let's see if it looks a little different. So now this animation looks a little better, which is great. And if you are using a computer or whatever device you're using, it should look fine. And that's basically it for the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.